Welcome back to the channel, and for another expansion or slash standalone game from the universe of Beasty Bar. Beasty Bar, the new beasts in town. This is an expansion or a standalone. You could play it standalone or you can mix. Never mixed, so I'm not sure if it really works when you try to mix, but as a standalone it works very well. So if you're looking to the first game, the base game, it's already in the channel. I'm gonna focus on the expansion where we have 12 new animals. 12 new animals. And the game works very similarly. And I'm gonna show you. So here, the box here now shows you the base game and the animals. You have the reference sheets, also the manual. The manual comes in multiple languages, explains in deeper detail the effects of each animal. As you can see, it's just 4 pages in a single language. It's a very simple game. Then inside you have, in terms of components, it's cards, basically. Starting with these cards, which are the party and the streets. So if you remember from the base game, the game plays like you have on this side the entrance for the party. And then on the opposite side, you have the streets, where if you get kicked by the guard, the security gorilla in the party, you go there. So the aim of the game is for you to make sure that if you're like the yellow player, you have the maximum number you can of animals enter here into the party and not getting kicked into the streets. If they go into the streets, they are out of the game. And that trigger happens once the players manage to have 5 animals in the street, in the queue. The first 2, they get access into the party. The last one gets kicked out to the streets, and then these 2 move, and the game continues with players. I'm just using yellow cards, but this is going to be cards for every player. This edition or this expansion comes with a difference from my base game, which is sometimes the order changes, and if you do that, you just need to change this. This one doesn't change, but you can change this, like you see, and now the entrance is on that side, and the streets, it's on the right side. You don't need to be swapping, but it looks a bit weird because you have the entrance and there's the street, and you have the kick and that's the party. So I prefer also to move both, but at least this edition has that difference. So now let's take a look at each animal and see how they work. Let's start with the rhino, the number 12. So the rhino is very bully because he's the rhino, right? So when he's played, he replaces the place in the queue with the highest number. So if I play it here, he would just replace this tiger and send the tiger into the street. So he rams it and he throws him away, which could be also another rhino. So if there is a rhino, you play your rhino and this rhino replaces, which is very different from the lion in the base game. The lion had conflict with other lions. This rhino, it just gets there and is the boss. Although it doesn't go into the front, but it's a good way for you to get into the position you want, if that's the stronger animal. The bear is also very bully. He sends, contrary to the skunk on the other game, he just sends to the back of the row the 2 lowest numbers in the game. So if I play it like this, it would send number 1 and number 4 in the same order to the back of the queue, and he goes in front of all of them. It's not a recurrent effect, it's just when it's played. And if you have an animal with the same number, so imagine that this was another dog here, then you would send the 2 dogs plus another number, because it's the 2 lowest numbers. Would be 2 4s and 1 10. They would move all back, and you would go into the front of all that. Yeah, so yes, bully. The tiger is quite strange. I think it's because the power would be recognizable, because tigers like to leap, right? So his power is, it just replaces the animal in front of the animal that you have. So it's not the one in front, it's the one in front of the in front, given that he has lower number than the tiger. Okay, and it's a recurrent effect. So if I do this, it doesn't replace this one, but it replaces that, because I think he would need to leap as a tiger and then kill this one, which goes into the street. And then if something happens, something comes forward, then in the end of the game he would leap. But I don't think he would leap this way, because this is not according to the rules. There is no animal in front of the animal in front of him, so he would stuck behind the bat in this example until there is something here that it could pounce and eat. This expansion is full of predators because there's the cheetah here. The cheetah, the fastest animal in the jungle or in the savannah, and you know who gets eaten. It's the lowest one that gets eaten by the cheetah. So the cheetah is replacing the card with the lowest number. So in this example, when playing a cheetah, it would just replace the lowest number, which goes away, killed by the cheetah, and then cheetah takes his place. The llama, quite strange outfit for a llama, but it has a recurrent power, which is it always sends at the end of the turn the animal in front of him, her, given that he has -8 of number, goes into the back of the line. So for example, in the end of this turn, well played, the dog would go to the end of the line, and then the end of the line would continue to grow, etc. But then in the end of the turn after, this bat would also need to go to the end of the line. It's not behind the llama, it's to the end of the line, and the line could be like this already. So be careful with the llama. Now the quite dangerous porcupine here. So porcupine has these quivers or these sticks here coming from his back, and is a shield character like the zebra in the base game. What happens is if you put it here, any animal that is above 7, the big guys that come and attack and try to screw and send this guy to the streets, they are the ones being sent to the streets, right? So in imagine this example here, he would send, this is not a good example, so let's remove this one. So he would need, the bear would need to send the 2 lowest numbers, so one of them would be this one and this one, but then this one activates his power, and then the bear is the one sent because he gets spiked here. Not sure exactly what happens with the bat, if the bat still activates or not, and if it goes, I need to check that. To be honest, I don't know. But if the target includes the porcupine, then the attacker goes to the street. Ostrich is the runner character. So when you play it, you choose which type of card you want to run through. Is it going to be odd numbers or even numbers? So if, for example, if I play here, if I choose even numbers, 4 is an even number, and I would be able to move in front of all the even numbers. But because that's an odd number, I don't pass through that. And if I play here and I choose odd numbers, then I won't go anywhere because I cannot pass the dog. But if there is if there was a situation like this, right, both odd, even numbers, I would say even numbers, and then it goes in front of all the even numbers, which means being in front of the exit or the party. Penguin. On number 5, you have the chameleon kind of characters, which included the chameleon on the base game, but now it's a penguin. So the penguin is the master of disguise or something. He has lots of characters. You can see he is concealing other cards. That's because he will activate the power of another card that you have in your hand. So in this example, I would have this ostrich, and I would say my penguin is going to be an ostrich. So I need to reveal to the other players, they will know what I have, but then this card until the end of the turn will be an ostrich, and I would choose again, considering the powers, even numbers, and I would move in front. In the end of the turn, it becomes a number 5, penguin. That's it. Okay. So a bit of a revealing, but you could have, if you have 2 strong cards in your hand with the penguin, you can replicate those 2 strong cards. So could be helpful. The dog looks like a corporate dog. So dog is similar to which one? The snake. The snake rearranged the queue from the highest to the lowest. The dog is exactly the opposite, so it just rearranged everything from the lowest to the highest. So if I play here, that would mean this would be rearranged and would be like this. That's it, very simple. Peacock, you know, the peacock is a very, very proud, very likes to show all his colors and likes to be praised, etc. So that's what the peacock does. It just puts himself in front of the strongest animal in the queue. In this example, so we would go immediately in front because the strongest animal is the ostrich, and you will make a spell here, shake the tail, etc. The ostrich will be like, "Woo, yeah, I can let you pass," and the peacock goes in front. The vulture. So the vulture is a hard card to make it work because it doesn't do anything for himself. It just uses the topmost card on the street, right? So if I use this, then this goes here and is replaced by the peacock, which in this example it's my card, but could be a card belonging to another player, so be careful with that. And then you just play that card that is taken by the vulture, and you apply the effects. So here it was a good play because the peacock would go in front, so I'm just reutilizing the peacock. But if you end up having a vulture there and you use a vulture, that means it's a vulture picking up a vulture, then the rules foresee that both vultures enter immediately the party. So it's another way for you to get a guy into the party would be vulture with a vulture, and that's it. You are in a party with the other vulture, but you're giving a point to the other player. So think wisely when to do that. Last but not the least is the number one animal, which is the bat. So the bat is super powerful because you can replace any animal in the queue. You just kill them and you get the spot. That's it. But there's a caveat here with the bat, which is if you end up being in the front place, then you immediately go, as you can see here, if you're in front, you go into the streets. I think because the bat doesn't like to be closer to the lights, so if you get too close, it just runs away. So you may never replace the card that is in front, like doing this, because you're gone, unless there's a strategy around that. And you should always be careful, because if you replace the second one and then there's a reordering, like with a dog or something, you go in front, then you're out as well, right? So be careful. Similar to the base game in terms of scoring, there are two ways for you to play this game. The basic one or simpler one would be, in the end of the game, you count how many cards and animals each player has on the party, and then whoever has most wins the game. In case of a tie, then you may apply the second rule of victory, which could also be played since the beginning, which is, doesn't matter the number of animals, but the points that each animal is worth. So some animals are worth 2 points, like the bear, dog, peacock, and vulture. Some of them are worth 3 points, penguin, ostrich, tiger, and rhino. And the strongest ones in terms of points are cheetah, llama, porcupine, and bat, which are worth 4 points. Okay, so you could have more animals than other people, but if they are worth in total less points, then you lose the game. Okay, so it's an added layer of difficulty or complexity to manage the points from the animals that you get in. And that's it. Simple. Goes for 45 minutes, considering what's in here in the box. And I hope you like this video to the point that you consider hitting that like button and subscribing. I have a big playlist full of board games, as well as playlists for all the major card games out there. As well as, if you like podcasts, I have the podcast at Table Talks, where I'm interviewing people to get to know more or better their stories, their projects, their profiles while playing board games online with them. So I definitely think that you will find interesting content in the channel to consider subscribing and to be part of this community. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.